The little girl was born with extraordinary culinary talent. At the age of 3, she started selling fried rice on the street. Each grain of rice shimmered with an enticing glow, perfectly separated. But at first, customers paid no attention to her fried rice. They angrily threw the rice onto the ground. As the fried rice scattered, the delicious aroma filled the air, immediately attracting the surrounding diners. The customers paused for a moment, then quickly bent down to pick up the rice and devoured it. Some even asked the little girl to make another bowl. It turned out the little girl had an incredibly high talent for cooking from a young age. Her knife skills were superb. Every movement was precise, but her grandfather never allowed her to touch the kitchen, because culinary skills were traditionally passed down to men, not women. Every time she secretly went to the kitchen to learn cooking, her grandfather would punish her severely. If he found out she was learning secretly, even her mother would get into trouble. Yet, despite this, she continued to practice in secret. Every delicious dish she made was always stolen by her cousin, in front of her grandfather. Her cousin would always claim the dishes were his. The girl didn't want to suffer punishment, so she silently endured. After her father passed away, life for her and her mother became extremely difficult. When she was hungry, she could only sneak into the kitchen to eat leftovers. One time, she couldn't bear the hunger anymore, and ran to a street stall to work for the owner, hoping to get a meal. The owner saw that she was small, and couldn't even reach the stove, almost chased her away. At that moment, a customer suddenly spoke up, saying the food the owner made was fit for pigs. The owner, unhappy, walked over to explain, not noticing the little girl had seized the chance to quickly fry a new batch of fried rice. When the rice was brought to the customer, he immediately threw it aside in disgust. However, as the rice scattered, the mouth-watering aroma filled the air. The customer was shocked, and realized he had never tasted such delicious fried rice before. He even licked each grain off the table. In the end, the little girl not only secured a job at the stall, but was also noticed by a renowned chef nearby for her talent. 10 years passed, and the little girl's fried rice became famous. Every night, people lined up for hours. However, despite her growing fame in the culinary world, her grandfather still looked down on her fried rice. He wouldn't even try it. In his eyes, as a girl, she was not fit to be a chef. Finally, one day, her grandfather secured a spot for her cousin in a cooking competition. The little girl also longed for the opportunity, but her grandfather believed she lacked the ability. This opportunity was only for his grandson. However, her cousin wasn't truly passionate about cooking. He spent his days playing games, and had no interest in learning to cook. The family restaurant's dishes were all forced to be made by the little girl. For this competition, her cousin even slacked off, and asked the little girl to take his place. In this way, the little girl accidentally entered the competition. Soon enough, her culinary skills surpassed all the other contestants, but her performance at the royal kitchen soon reached her grandfather's ears. Even worse, her cousin, in order to keep his spot, accused her of stealing his opportunity. No matter how she explained, her grandfather refused to believe her. He was furious, and decided to punish her severely. He even planned to kick her out of the house. After all the years of humiliation and injustice, the little girl chose not to endure anymore. She decided to prove that women are no less capable than men. So, she cut ties with her grandfather completely, said goodbye to her mother, and left home.